Whoa.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Sorry. I saw your hand move.
That's how we have to start the podcast, by the way.
Yeah, we should start.
We just don't have our cowboy hats on.
Yeah.
And we don't have long hair anymore.
Dude.
Both of us had long hair.
Here we are, guys. Wow. It's been a long time coming for this podcast, but welcome to Jed Talks. I am so excited to finally be here and to be able to talk with you guys and to give you a little insight to what's been going on the past few months. You know, it's been like a long waiting period, and I assure you that there's no one on planet Earth that I know of who's been more excited for this podcast to come out than me. And maybe Alex, and maybe there is some other person out there. We would love to know who you are. If you are as excited as us, we would like to know you. But yeah, so we hit a bit of a roadblock. As you guys know, there was a lot of things that came up a few months ago regarding the show and how everything went down. And all I can say to you is this. I had to weigh out my life a little bit. I had to decide, was it worth it for me to come out and say the things that I was going to say and potentially spend months in court with people that I really don't care about at this point in my life? No. I decided no, that my time and my life was of more value to me to spend recording more episodes of this and getting it ready, to be working on music, to spend time with Ellen, to spend time with my family. It wasn't worth it to me to go to court over something that's happened at this point 2 years ago. That being said, I hope that some of us can put two and two together and see that there was obviously something pretty powerful that I had to say that was worth me being sued over. And, you know, I would love to say those things. Maybe there will be like a day that I'll get to say everything. But for now, I guess they don't want me to throw a wrench in the franchise, so we'll just let it cruise. And for the people who are smart enough to know me a little more at this point, or have followed my life up until this point, you can see that once I am in a relationship, I am in a relationship, and I've never cheated on anyone in my life. I didn't cheat on Haley. I didn't cheat on Hannah. There was no relationship between Haley and I other than what you guys read, the notes, the fact that we did say I love you back and forth. I say I love you to literally all of my friends.
You said it to me as soon as you walked in.
I've said it. Yeah, that's just how it is. And I know some people are like, it's a powerful word, and I get that. And I'm not trying to say that it's not a powerful word, but she knew damn well that we weren't together. Everyone here in town that we were close with and mutual friends knew that we weren't together. And I even had a friend basically come out and threaten me at one point, telling me that if I don't, you know, go face to face and come to terms with her while I was at this point engaged, that they were going to release these episodes that she had already done with, I guess, or articles with People magazine or whichever one she did first. I don't really remember at this point. But, you know, the fact is this: I wasn't in a relationship. I am now, but wasn't then. And if that's hard to hear, then, you know, I don't really care. That's my truth, and that's the truth that I will always live with no matter what. And I'm completely content dying knowing that we were not dating. Anyway, to press forward. So now that we got that out of the way, here we are, guys. Welcome to Jed Talks. I'm very excited for you to see all the episodes that we're going to have this year. All the amazing guests, some people that you know, some people that you don't know, some people that I know, and also some people that I don't really know that well. So we're going to have some amazing conversations. We're going to sit down and just hang. It's going to be a good just conversation and just getting to know people, and you guys getting to know people and getting to know me a little more. We're going to share some like behind the scenes on my life, behind the scenes on their life if they're willing to share. It's going to be fun. We're going to have a good time. I am, like I said, beyond excited, and you guys have been very patient, and I appreciate the people who have been patient waiting for this, because I know that it got hyped up and everything, but now you know the reason. Now you know why I couldn't just do it, and Again, I apologize, but I had to choose what was best for my life, and sometimes that isn't always what is pleasing to the public. So I hope that everyone else takes that into account with their own lives and does what's best for them. And, moving forward, we're going to keep rolling episodes out, and it's going to be a good time. And I'm happy that you guys get to be a part of it, and let's get after it. So today's guest is one of my favorite people in the entire world. He's like a brother to me. We grew up super close to each other in the aspect of like land. Like we weren't too far from each other. We didn't know each other growing up, but Jackie is from Maryville, Tennessee. He is one of the best people, most talented artist, and just a light in Nashville. So I'm very excited for you guys to hear our conversation. We're going to talk about his career and his struggles with testicular cancer, his life, and you guys are just going to get to see his heart and get to see how freaking funny this guy is. But without further ado, this is Jackie Lee. We're on.
On? Well, I'm turned on.
I'm
glad I'm sitting down.
I am
That's
so
all I got to say
on.
about that.
And I'm glad that this is not see-through because you would see so many things.
Anyway, thank you guys for having me. I'm just going to get out of here. That's cool.
All right. Well, thanks for coming.
Awesome.
And
make sure you like and subscribe.
Swipe up. Jackie Lee, thank you for being here.
Oh, yeah, dude. You're welcome, man.
One of the best people.
I really didn't want to be here, but you had to pick me up.
I know. Well, you can't walk, so I was like, I'm just going to capture him and bring him on the podcast.
And I love that you knew it was my neighborhood because of the woman on her four-wheeler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jackie and I are both from East Tennessee, so it's like, I mean,
we're probably cousins.
We probably are.
Yeah.
Probably are. Good chance. And I was pulling into his neighborhood to pick him up, and there's
he had to pick me up because I have a ruptured Achilles. You can't see it under the table. But
sure you do.
Yeah.
Sure you do.
Just pride.
No, but Jackie really does have a torn Achilles.
It's not torn. It's ruptured.
He has a completely blasted out Achilles. But
my Achilles blasted out last week, bro.
But I pulled into your neighborhood and there's a girl ripping a four-wheeler around. I'm like, I'm close, even if I didn't have a GPS.
Nancy? Yeah, Nancy. Yeah, we love Nancy. She's a neighborhood gal. Makes her rounds, brings the paper to us in the morning on a quad. It's pretty sick.
That'd be pretty cool. You need a four-wheeler for your neighborhood.
I'm trying to get you to move to my neighborhood.
It was cool.
I can't believe you've lived here as long as you have. You've never spent time in Donaldson.
I haven't. It looked
nice.
Out
on a redneck good time.
Is that your favorite place you've lived so far?
Yeah, it is. I moved to Nash working on 12 years ago.
Wow.
And so I've lived almost everywhere. I mean, that's, exaggeration, but pretty much in all the little pockets. I think the most fun place that we've lived was when I lived on Music Row.
Yeah.
Because that was the party house.
That was the party house. You're right there next to everything you need.
Yeah. And so it was really easy also to just on a whim be like, hey, we're going to play cornhole in the backyard. And then next thing you know, 150 people's there and you're like, okay, leave.
That was fun. That's kind of how I got to know you too. Because it was like you were having these crazy
How did
fun
we get to know each other?
We met at Topgolf. That was when we very first met.
Dude, you are right. We met at Topgolf. You and all those other bachelor douchebags were there. And I'm just kidding.
Was I with other?
Yeah. The dude that's on the show now was there.
No, I know who you're talking about. You're talking about Mike.
I don't know.
No,
I don't remember their names or really what they look like. I just remember your beautiful face.
Different guy.
Oh, sorry.
Different guy.
Sorry, Mike.
Mike's a cool dude.
Mike. Yeah, he seemed it.
But
I'm just kidding, dude. I really don't remember Mike at all. He seemed really nice. So I showed up that night. I don't even know. It was like a birthday party or something.
I think it was like Noah randomly got that bay and invited a bunch of people, and we all just were teeing off.
I can't imagine I would just randomly show up at Topgolf. There had to be a reason.
I think he invited you.
I know, but it was for something that is obviously irrelevant in this moment.
So you're only going to show up to Topgolf for important events?
Yeah, I just want to go to Topgolf. I'd rather sit on my couch and watch Back to the Future like I was doing before you picked me up.
Were you?
Yeah.
That's great.
I had a write today and then just had the TV going and I saw Back to the Future was coming on. And I was like, man, how can I wrap up this write? Because Back to the Future is about to start.
Oh, are you doing like a Zoom?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's great. You're like,
not gonna lie.
You're like looking over the computer, acting like you're like thinking of what to write, but you're really like watching the show.
I'm like, guys, what if we?
I'm on to something here. Hold on.
What if we
be quiet.
the bridge we get in a car and go to the future?
That would be different.
What do you think?
Jackie, where do you get your inspiration?
I hated
it just
Zoom.
comes to me about 7 feet behind the screen.
I hated Zoom at first because I love this. I'm a people guy. I like to, look at you. I like to be close to you.
Same.
And I'm like a golden retriever when it comes that way. I need you to like pet me and tell me I'm a good boy every once in a while. Yeah,
good line.
Good job.
That was a good line.
But the more we got to do Zoom, and I didn't have to go to people's houses or the office, and I could just, go take a poop if I needed to without just like a reason to.
Right.
It was awesome.
Like that's kind of, I feel like when you're in a write, that's almost like a cool thing to do. You get up and go to the bathroom randomly.
I became addicted to coffee because of that, because I'd like not have an idea or just like not want to look at these people anymore and be like, I'm going to get a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
And that turned into me probably drinking 8 cups of coffee a day.
Oh, God.
Which is wrong.
That's so much. Are you still drinking that much coffee?
Absolutely. I had a French press. I had a French press and 2 K-pods today.
Oh, my.
I'm not kidding. That's a real story.
Holy. Dude, I can't even
I just
operate.
like pass out over here in the corner.
I can't even fathom that. I'm so caffeine sensitive.
I have a feeling it's one of the reasons I probably ruptured my Achilles.
It just exploded with caffeine.
Because that much caffeine in the muscle.
Dried out.
What?
You're all dried out.
I'm all dried out, bro.
You got some crispy.
My Achilles are crispy, dude.
They're like chips.
I thought about telling them, I was like, yo, just take it out. Let's throw it on the grill. I don't really need it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Probably my basketball days are over.
It's like jerky.
Dude, they're not over. You love it too much.
You know what's kind of funny is when I went to the doctor, he was the weirdest thing. If there's any doctors listening to this right now, they're probably just like, no. But the East Tennessee in me came out at first. I did this at the very end of February. Okay.
Yeah.
We're pushing April now. I went to the very end of February. They were like, we're going to take you to the hospital. I said, no. I said, I need you to finish the basketball game. It was a very big game, and I needed them to finish. And a dude subbed in for me. It was fine. Also, not a real big fan of people fanning all over me. It's like, I'm fine. I can deal with myself. Ashley brings down some crutches that he had. And so I'm like, yo, I'm fine. I got some crutches. Give me some ice. We're good. So they start icing it. I snuck out. I drive a 76 Ford F-250 with a 360 heavy, and it's a clutch. I'm like, how in the hell am I going to get home tonight? And they were all like, we'll take you home. I was like, I'm not leaving I live in Donaldson. I'm not leaving my truck in freaking Franklin.
Yeah.
So they're playing, and I'm like, I got to go pee. And I sneak out to my truck. I had just snapped my Achilles. It sounded like a gunshot went off in there. I get in my truck, and I drive it around the building a few times to make sure that I can drive. I really did.
How was it?
It sucked. And I will say, I was not in a lot of pain over the Achilles. You know when you roll your ankle and your stomach just hurts and everything just hurts. You just like the worst pain.
Bit.
Yeah. It was not like that at all.
Really?
And so anyway, I go to my truck. I'm driving around. I'm like, can I do this? And that's where the East Tennessee redneck in me probably came out, because I'm like, hell yeah. I totally can.
Absolutely, I can.
And you should have seen, I was almost pushing the gas with my hand. It was like, and I'm like just doing all the things,
Yeah.
And I come back in, totally play it cool. They're like, where'd you go? I was like, oh, I had to take, bathroom break. And then they finish up. They're like, oh, we're going to take you to the hospital. I said, nope, I'm driving home. And they're like, but I'm pretty sure legally we can't let you do that. And I said, stop me. And I drove home that night. My baby sister was in the middle of those basketball games, state tournament. She was a senior in high school. I was like, can't miss those either. And so she had 2 games in East Tennessee with a ruptured Achilles that I drove back and forth to.
Oh my God.
And
were you just popping hella ibuprofen and
yeah
everything else you could find that could possibly
ibuprofen.
Moonshine.
That was ibuprofen for sure.
Yeah.
Just driving half drunk with a ruptured Achilles on
it would make
Advil.
sense in the truck too.
Probably cocaine probably would have helped. Am I allowed to say that on the podcast?
Hey.
I've never done it. Don't do it.
Hey, don't do it if you don't. Swipe up if you want to get half off.
Hey man, hit that like button if you see in the chat who's done cocaine. Yeah.
This podcast sponsored by Coca Brothers, world's finest cocaine.
Anyway, so I had someone lend me a boot, those big walking boots, and I would start to wear that, and it helped tremendously. And I was like, because at this point still, I mean, I was lying to myself a little bit. I was like, maybe I tore my calf. Like maybe it wasn't like, because I had a buddy who was like, dude, I thought I ruptured my Achilles, ended up being a torn calf. It's like, there's hope, you know, maybe I didn't do that, just some time off. And then I waited like 11 days before I did anything.
Before you like got
and
any
a friend of mine's a doctor, and I was like, hey, do you care to look at this real quick? And she was like, when did you do this? Yesterday? I was like, yeah. Or 14 days ago. I don't know. And she was like, you need to go like now. And so I went and got an MRI, and it's completely severed. But what you said about the beef jerky thing this is what the doctor said to me. And this is where it's like yet to be seen. Stay tuned. Go to the doc, which is also like ridiculous. Going to the doctor for anything sucks.
Right.
Because there's always 10 obstacles to jump through, and you have to pay. It's like going to the nail salon and then being like, you know, oh, $5 more for your other whatever. Not that I've been in a nail salon, I just know that. And so they sent me to one place, to the next place, to the next place, to the next place. Yeah. And I'm like, I could have started here.
Right.
And I've already done like 14 things that didn't need to do, but there goes all that, you know, $1,200. Get to the doc. He looks at the MRI. He's like, man, like, do you care to do another x-ray for me? And I was like, I've done like 3. And he goes, just do this one. Come back. He goes, because he was already prepping me for surgery. Like we were either going to do it like the next morning, or because that was on a Thursday, we're going to do the next morning, or Monday morning. It's like pretty quick. And he goes, man, like, I don't want to do surgery. And I said, really? And he goes, man, imagine this. You know, everyone thinks that your Achilles, once it snaps, it's like beef jerky. And I'm like,
dry and really hard to tear.
Yeah, exactly. That should be on the Wikipedia for Achilles. But anyway, he goes, yours did not retract either way. Like it didn't go up or down to the heel.
How though?
I don't know. I'm amazing. Maybe the caffeine. Maybe the caffeine's actually working a different way.
Yeah.
And it's like
so
when you
high,
pour salt.
You can't leave him.
You pour salt on meat and it just like cures it or something. Like it healed meat. I don't know.
Yeah.
But he said, imagine. He goes, it's not like beef jerky. Imagine it's like string cheese. And I said, where the F am I right now?
That's very different.
And he goes,
you had like a hungry doctor. He was like, he was like this close to having
bro,
break.
Should we go to lunch and you come back and tell me what's wrong with my leg?
It's almost like a sub.
And so he said,
you go get lunch. You come back. He's like, yeah, we got to do something.
Actually, we need to take you in right now.
Is done.
So he goes, imagine like pulling string cheese apart and all the fibers, like it just kind of gooey. Yeah. And he said, or mop ends. I was like, that makes a little bit more sense than string cheese. And he goes, and yours, he goes, didn't go far away. They're just like really close. And they want to fight. He did this to me. I swear to God. I'm like, am I high right now? Like, who are you? And
he gave you the finger.
He's doing the thing right here. And like, I just don't want to go, you know what I mean? I didn't know what to do.
You should have joined him. You should have been like, let me try. Like, I want to join.
He'd be like, so our Achilles attached to each other? Anyway, he was like, it's going to find itself. That's what he said to me, dude.
This guy walked in off the street and put a lab coat on. There's no way there's a real doctor.
I don't disagree.
Is that actually, have you looked at
Okay, so I did like a lot of research.
I bet you WebMD'd the absolute.
So Tyler Hubbard just snapped his Achilles.
Okay.
Well, he didn't just snap it. He snapped it last year, and he's just now getting to the end. So
I thought you were going to say he's just now getting it looked at. I'm like, what's going on with guys like putting it off a little bit?
He went to the same doctor, and he said his was like a sub, not string cheese. Anyway, so he said, you should get a second opinion. Huh? That's what he said. That's like all he said. And so I have to go back Friday because I've had this cast on for 2 weeks now at this point. And we're getting another MRI. He goes, I did a lot of research. You should have seen me trying to pronounce the words. You know how you can do the long form on like Wikipedia of like, and I'm like the nucleus, like,
yeah.
And anyway, so I'm trying to read all these big words that I obviously don't understand. I write songs. I don't heal people. And well, maybe I do, but in a different way.
You heal them with
what a
music.
nice thought, though. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I told him, and he said, you really need to see another doctor, like a second opinion. And I'm going to go through with this doctor, Dr. Meatballs, and we're going to see, what he has to say, because we're going to probably do another MRI to see if it's like healed itself.
Wow. How long ago was it that you got it looked at and he said it was like
This
the
Friday
verge?
will be 2 weeks.
Okay.
Because
So-
he said, I'm going to put you in a hard cast. Do not put absolutely any weight at all. But can I
have
say,
you put weight on it?
Yeah.
I was
So
gonna
like
say.
I didn't. I've been really good. Like
Yeah.
I've been really good. Like a lot of laying on the couch. That's just really hard for me because I'm like
Yeah, you're-
always just like trying to do something.
Yeah.
Yesterday was the first day I put weight on it, and this is gonna bring back the truck. So I live in Donaldson. It's not hard to get an Uber because I live semi close to the airport. But like
Yeah.
I've tried. Saturday I had a meeting that 2 Ubers canceled on me. Manager ended up coming pick me up because of the time strain. Yesterday, I had a buddy that was doing a set at Zany's, and we were supposed to get dinner before and then watch the show. And I called an Uber, took like 15 minutes, canceled. Called another Uber, similar kind of thing. I'm like, I gotta go. So I got my crutches and I hopped in the truck and I drove downtown.
You drove to Zany's?
Yeah, dude.
Oh
I got
my God.
I got a video of it, dude. I sent a video to my brother, and he said, "Why would you think this is funny?" Like he said, "Why would you?" Because I look at videos, and he goes, "Why would you think this is funny?"
Oh, God.
And I was
Pressing
like,
That's when you
pedals
know
with
you've
the-
done something
"When you're
wrong.
5 years,
Pressing pedals with the clutch, with the crutches.
dude." So what? I mean, I thought about that.
Yeah.
But so I found it's a single cab bench seat truck, so
Yeah.
it's like plenty of room. And I figured out what I could do is you can touch, there's so much room for your foot. It's amazing. You can use your heel, and I'm letting the cast press the gas. And so I wasn't having to put any weight on my toes or my, like basically the biggest thing I can't do right now is push my toes back because that stretches the Achilles
Right.
and need the Achilles to stay like smaller. But I was pushing the thing, and when I got on the highway, I just pushed the gas on my left foot.
No.
I had my leg up on the bench seat driving down the road, bro. Yeah, this is probably terrible to put in the internet, but you're welcome.
And you're
If you come to
videoing it with the other
Nashville,
hand.
Oh,
you don't-
absolutely.
Don't worry about the drunk drivers in Nashville.
What
Worry
about the
about
sober ones
wor-
with torn Achilles.
Yeah.
worry about the people playing pickup basketball. Oh man.
Good times. It was
Here's,
good times.
here's your string cheese right there. There it is.
Oh.
Yeah, see, that's what he said it does.
Oh, there it is. Look.
Actually, he never showed me this picture. That's kind of
But
similar.
why would he show you the picture when he had this phenomenal
I will
diagram?
agree. I enjoyed the fingers more than I did the
For
picture.
sure.
So
I see why he went from beef jerky to string cheese because
it kind of looks like string cheese.
Kind of does.
I mean, I've never torn string cheese apart in the middle. You're a psychopath if you do that.
Yeah.
You have to tear it from the sides, but it does. It's like a lot of
Yeah.
fibers going on.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see it. I think the guy was hungry.
It's actually a
still.
picture of my leg. How did he find that so quick?
That's what that
crazy.
last
So
X-ray
those,
was.
those
It
will
was like-
actually
Exactly.
find its way back home.
So
Deal.
being more
No,
realistic,
it definitely won't. There's no way it will.
no place,
They're just gonna
no
dance.
place like home. No place like home. Being more realistic on what I found in research, you just kicked my foot.
Was that
by
your
the-
back foot? I'm sorry.
He just kicked it, bro.
I'm sorry. I had to move my feet
You're
around.
just like stomping it.
I didn't know. It was one of those awkward things where I didn't know if it was part of the table or not. So I just kind of gave it like a little movement. I apologize, Jackie.
He that was amazing.
He just starts crying.
Just like I'm like
I don't
holding
know
it
if I
back,
can
but just like
finish
one
this.
tear, dude. So I did the research, and apparently, which again, I mean, a doctor's gonna make some pretty good money from a surgery, no matter what it is. Shocked me when he said, for that reason alone, shocked me why he wouldn't want to do the surgery.
Right.
And he said, or I read literally last November, they had this ginormous, they met in Florida and did the whole thing, ginormous doctors convention about the Achilles. And they said they felt irresponsible for not allowing natural healing to occur versus
wow.
just saying we're going to do a surgery.
That's crazy.
So
Wow.
I don't know if my doctor is crazy or he knows what he's doing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it sounds like the new thing would be to just let it do its thing itself and let it heal.
The
But
number one, though, as opposed to, it didn't even feel like healing was the biggest part of that convention. It felt like money was, which, still talking to doctors and making money, it's like, it's one of the biggest like taboo things to talk about really in America because they're probably the best con artists of all time. And so I respected, him taking that kind of thing.
Right.
I mean,
Or he's waiting for it to get way worse
dude,
and double down.
I
Yeah,
thought
he's
about
like,
that.
you know
but
what?
Honestly, I didn't want to put that in the universe, so thank you.
He's like, maybe the other one will tear because he's compromised.
It looks like
Then
the
I'll give up.
cheese.
Well, I will
isn't
say this:
working.
when I went through cancer, I wasn't so much in the same place. I was, you know me, dude. Like I'm a pretty nice guy. Like I at least I
Great
try
guy.
to be.
Yeah.
And like it takes a lot to like make me angry.
Right.
If I were to be, and even if I'm angry, I'm not gonna like lash out. I'll just kind of like say what I think. But
Right.
you saw me get into a fight. at
I was
Kickball.
gonna say, dude, I've seen a couple things.
But even that was not my.
no,
yeah,
it's not your
we'll
fault.
talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
No telling, or I guarantee you, those people will watch your podcast and they'll see my face and they're just going to be mad all over
We're
again.
still not over it.
Dude,
Still not over it.
Sam Hunt coming to save the day though. You and Sam and Ben were the first three on the scene.
I was having that moment where like I wanted to chime in, but at the same time it was like, what just happened? We'll talk about it in a second. So finish what you were saying.
Well, when I was going through the cancer stuff, that is way. I mean, Achilles is above my pay grade, but like, you know, cancer is way above it. And so I definitely, you know, when you go to the doctor and you're playing ball in their court, you know, so you know, I think it's the right thing to do to listen. But I got out of that experience and I felt like maybe there were some things that could have been done differently.
Mm-hmm.
And so just taking that and then fast forward into me going to see the poor little girl over at the orthopedic place. And she was like trying to get me a boot. She was trying to get all this stuff. She goes, we need to take an x-ray. I said, I don't have any broken bones. She goes, well, we just need to do an x-ray to see where it's set. And I said, isn't that what an MRI is for? She goes, yeah, but we need to see your bones. I said, I don't want to do an x-ray. I said, there's no broken bones. Like it's like 8:30 in the morning and I'm just like chippy. And so we did the x-ray, right?
Oh,
We get in there. And this was after like probably a 12-minute conversation.
yeah.
And we get in there and do the x-ray. First thing she goes, well, there's nothing on the x-ray. I said, I told you. I knew that.
So that's
So
a
I
free
just
X-ray.
paid $450 for something I didn't need. You know what I mean? And then that's what. But here we are, string cheese. We're good to go. I'll be healed. Playing basketball next week. So I'm just kidding. No, I won't be.
No, yeah, you're gonna be out for a minute.
I'll be out for a minute.
For a
I
minute.
still
You'll
I've
still
been
come
showing
back.
up because I have to text all those freaking dudes and get them all
Yeah.
together. But
You're like the mediator of the basketball hoop.
which Ashley put me in charge of that. I'm like, I know why you did this. I felt like honored at first. I was like, I know why you did this.
Yeah.
It's like because you hate doing it,
Right.
and like I have to do it now, and I kind of hate doing it.
Yeah.
But
It's
is
a
what it
lot.
is.
There's a lot of dudes that show up to that.
Yeah, especially if you get like 15 is okay to play pickup basketball because you can at least have 3 teams rotating. But and everyone's welcome. It's not about, but you just got to be like, some can play on Monday and the other ones play on Wednesday. Like you can't. So if you get like 16, we had 23 guys show up one time.
Wow.
But it was like a friend after friend after friend after friend. I told them, I was like, okay, here's the first rule. Don't bring a +1. Like if you want to, let me know. We'll count them in, but don't bring them in. And so we've kind of got it under control. But
That's a lot.
I love basketball more than music for sure.
Really?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like actually?
Probably.
So if somebody set you down and was like, Jackie, you can play in the NBA, or Jackie, you can sell out stadiums for the rest of your career.
I'd be selling out stadiums either way. So.
Oh, that's true. But would it be basketball or singing if you had someone sit you down?
I mean, I
and
say
said
that kind of facetiously. I mean, I love to. I love music. You know what I mean? I'm just not good at basketball, so it makes me think if I were, I'd probably love it more.
You are good. You are good.
Thanks, Jed.
He is good.
I mean, he's a very average white 30-year-old basketball player is what he is, and I love it. But I mean, there's it's the whole deal of like when I was in high school and I was showing up at the gym or in the driveway before school shooting shots, legit thinking I was going to the NBA.
Oh yeah.
And my mom was like, she supported me hardcore, but she's like, baby, like, you ain't going to the NBA.
Right. It's funny how like as a kid, like you go through those mindsets where it's like you literally like know you could do whatever, and you're like, I'm gonna be in the NBA.
Absolutely, I believed it.
Like I am going.
I was like
in the NBA.
Googling at that. Google had just like come out. I'm like Googling,
best shoes for NBA.
Absolutely. I was best shoe socks NBA,
yeah.
other white dudes similar to my height in the NBA if they made it. You know what I mean? Like just how old were they when
lowest vertical in the NBA.
And like actually trying to find the real. You always heard Michael Jordan didn't make his high school team. And like I've never found proof of that, by the way. I've Googled a lot. Like never found. So it's like one of those deals where it's just like like you said, it's a real dream in the moment.
Yeah.
You're just like,
totally.
this is going to happen. And then you realize that, you go to school with Randall Cobb
Right.
and he's better at everything than you. And you're just like, man, if he's better and I go to high school with him, it's probably not looking good for even the college level.
Yeah. There's some people that really put you back into reality
Exactly.
really quick. Just for a second, if you feel comfortable talking about it, I'd like to hear a little bit about like your cancer stuff. Like, 'cause I feel like it's like very inspiring.
I have one testicle. Makes me run faster, jump higher. I'm just kidding. It doesn't. Yeah, dude, that was wild.
Jesus.
I moved here. You got to make the testicle jokes because I feel like it makes other people feel uncomfortable. And I'm like, I don't care.
But but it's also something that should be kind of talked about because as guys, most guys don't even think that that's even.
Dude, I mean, again, like I'm I have a PhD in Google and I Google a lot, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just to like find out how many, I knew 2 other guys personally that I didn't know had testicular cancer in Nashville.
Really?
And it was, so one of the first dudes I was out with Dan and Shay, and it wasn't Dan or Shay, it was just someone kind of in that camp. And he had heard what I was like kind of going through, and he goes, man, I've not told anybody this, but I also had testicular cancer and the surgery and stuff. And I was like, what? And at the same time I said, all right, what ball you have left? Say it on 3. 1, 2, 3, left. And we both just like went crazy because that was like the testicle we had left, bro. It was like, I think about that all the
ball
time.
Brothers.
We're the ball. Another basketball story. One time we were playing. This was probably like a year ago, and someone threw a ball and it hit me right in the groin. And Jared Holly looked at me. He goes, "How'd it feel to have 2 balls between your legs again for a second?"
Oh my god. For a second. Oh my god. Oh man.
Anyway, it was wild. I mean, I've had I'm very thankful at this point in my life just to be thankful.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I don't know, it's tough to get there sometimes for people, man. I've had I love to be a happy-go-lucky kind of guy. I mean, dude, you and I feel like how we hit it off in that way of just like, I love people, love being around people, love life. It doesn't always go your way, but just suck it up. It'll get better, you know?
Totally.
And it was, I moved here, I was 18 and signed a record deal at Big Machine within 3 months of being here. Signed a publishing deal with Universal, ended up being there for like 8 years. The Big Machine record deal lasted for like right at 2 years. And then, cause I was basically let go in December, and then that next February signed with Broken Bow. So even that transition was like,
right.
And again, it was more like put the blinders on, let's figure it out. And so got out of the Broken Bow deal after being there for 5 years. Well, leading up to that. Mom in 2016 went to heaven from cancer. Mm-hmm. And dude, cancer was something that like didn't run in either side of the family. It was very weird. And her cancer was also extremely weird. And then she went to heaven June the 4th of 16. And at that point, I was just kind of like, okay, the little tiny baby thoughts of like, what is any of this worth? You know what I mean? Because,
Mm-hmm.
it's a grind for anyone. Trying to make anything happen sucks most of the time.
Yeah.
And you do hear the stories of like, well, if you're doing what you love, it's like, and that is true. Like I do love it, but there's also days it just flat out sucks.
Mm-hmm.
And so, dude, it was September, it was around my mom's birthday. I had taken pretty much all that time off from June to September, and I was going up to write with FGL on the bus. And I flew up there that day from Nashville, and I had this really weird feeling in my body. I had no idea what it was. It wasn't like a headache. It wasn't like my stomach wasn't hurting. It was super weird. And I'm not even that guy. I don't, not to say it was intuition, but it just was really abnormal for myself. And I called my dad. Dude, I hadn't been to the doctor since I was like 12, like with strep throat. You know what I mean? Like I'm fine. So I didn't have a doctor in Nashville, like not even a family doctor. So we come back home from that trip. Dad's like, well, let's just not take anything for granted, get it checked out. And so at this point, I had started to have like a more pointed kind of like issue. Like it was my testicle. Family doctor, physical, was like, think you're dealing with this. It was like called epididymitis or something like that, something weird. Like a lot of dudes our age, like that work out a lot and stuff. It's basically like crimps the, very layman's terms, crimps the tubes going to your scrotum. Yeah. And it can be done in a million different ways. He said, antibiotic will fix it. I did 2 rounds of 10-day antibiotics and never fixed it. Then the testicle started to, kind of get larger, and that led to an ultrasound. I did like 6 of those ultrasounds. This one older lady had to do the ultrasound every single time. I'm like, "What up, Betty?" You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, man.
just coming to put the hot jelly on my scrotum and just like rubbing around that. Every single time, I swear, I did 6 of those things. And every single time we'd get done, I was like, "Am I pregnant?" You know what I mean? Like, it was just like one of those deals. And because again, it's just like trying to be myself through all that too.
Right.
I was pretty scared.
It's probably hard.
But like, no, it wasn't hard. Sorry. It was.
That's good though.
It was not hard while she did it. Is that what you're asking?
Oh. Oh, Betty with the soft hands.
She did have soft hands, man. She was so nice. She was like a 75-year-old woman that literally had seen everything at this point in her life. She was like, did not care.
That's who you want.
Absolutely.
Definitely-
Definitely didn't want the
Somebody
Achilles
who's like
doctor.
su-
You know what I mean?
young, fresh out of
That guy,
Vanderbilt.
he's
Hi,
just
Jackie.
hungry all the time, got barbecue sauce on his hands. He's just like, dude. Anyway, so that was that was probably almost, other than the chemo itself, that was like the longest process of not knowing what it was. And so I still was not saying a word to the record label. I had just written a song called Getting Over You.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying my best to get that song, the label to like, because I already put like 2 songs out that pretty much flopped. And we were gearing up to go out on the road with Dan and Shay.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I cannot let anything stop this momentum. Because I've like, for the first time, really, this is the first time I've had genuine momentum in anything in the music business. I started to do radio tour. I started to do radio tour around like October, get through the Thanksgiving break. It was our first Thanksgiving without mom. Just a lot was different that year. And then I was up in the Northeast, New York, Boston, like all those places. And my last place was Boston. And at this point, the doctor called me the day before Thanksgiving and was like, "Well, we need to take the testicle out." I was like, "What? You don't even know what it is? You want to take it out? Why? Can you not test to see if it's cancer?" And he's like, "No." And I mean, for men, like, no, you're right. No one talks about it. Like, we didn't know what it was.
Right.
And I don't know, dude. It's just one of those deals where, because I didn't know what it was, because I couldn't Google, like, what did this guy go through? It made it so much more pressure, so much more scary. Like, it was just weird, dude. And I'm also the oldest of, my brother and sister. Our mom had just went to heaven. Like, I was just trying to keep it on the tracks as much as I could. I wasn't telling them anything. My dad knew. And he calls me before Thanksgiving. He's like, "We're going to take it out." I'm like, "Cool." And I asked him why. And I was like, "But if it's not cancer," he goes, "Well, at this point, you'll be totally fine with 1. And he goes, "There's like be no change in your anatomy at all. But," he goes, "if it is cancer, we did the right thing." I'm like, that seems like a 50-50, man. It's like, do I want to die as a man with 2 balls, or do I was legit, as silly as it sounds, was thinking those things. Right. And fast forward, I got back from Nashville. I can look at the calendar, but I got back from Nashville from Boston, like super late on like the 13th or 14th. And then I was at 4 a.m. St. Thomas West prepping for surgery, 5:30 a.m. surgery. Jeez. And so, and the doc came in, like they're putting me under and stuff. And they do it in rounds. I didn't realize. I thought it was all just like, you drink this or they put this in you, you're out. Mm-hmm. But they were like slowly, giving the sedatives to me. And they'd come in. I'm like, "I'm not out. I'm still awake. I'm not out."
You had your 15 cups of coffee that day.
Exactly. I'm just like, "I'm not out." And they're like, "It's okay, Mr. Midkiff. You're going to be okay." And Midkiff's my last name, by the way. You knew that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I go by Jackie Lee, but everybody thinks I'm a small Asian girl. And I'm not.
We might have to take
Why? Is that just people do? I've had anyway.
Lee is an Asian last name.
Absolutely. People think it all the time, and they see
and
my
we love it.
Tall bearded face and they're like, "Damn." Right. That we're gonna have a beautiful woman. So still not happening. Like 4 times they come in the room, and like the last time I was like, "I've taken 3 of these drinks. I know everything that's going on right now. You're wearing purple. My name is Jackie. Like, I know everything what's going on right now." And they said,
like, "Don't take it off while
it's going to be okay. You're going to be." I was just saying all the cognitive things that I knew to say. There's like, it is 12:43 right now. Like, it's like all this stuff.
Yeah.
And so, they get back, the doctor comes in. It's like, Mr. Midkiff, I understand that you're having some worries about the sedative, and we just want you to know that it's all going to be fine. You'll be completely out for the surgery. And I was like, I better be. And he goes, it's like customary for me to ask, do you have anything you'd like to say to me before the surgery, or whatever?
Oh my
dude,
God.
and I know that it is like legally they have to do that.
I've had like a few surgeries and I've never been.
I think because it's like considered it was outpatient surgery, but it's still considered high risk.
And okay.
Wait, but like what? Like, this sounds like a final words.
Yeah,
that's
right. That's
what
it is.
Execute you, like
that's
exactly
why they asked.
In that moment. It's what I felt. And I will say, that doctor, not the Achilles guy, but that doctor was unbelievably kind and like made everything feel warm, in a way.
Yeah.
And so I did trust him. But he came in with that, and I was just like, what do you mean? He goes, well, it's just like, is there anything you'd like to say to me, or like, whatever. I don't know what. I was like, well, make sure you pat the other one on the cheek when you, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. It's like, I didn't know what he wanted from me. But I at this point, I had started to feel a little foggy. You know what I mean? Because I had probably had the equivalent of 8 coffees worth of sedative, because they knew they had to counteract the coffee.
Right.
And I just looked at him and I said, Doc, whatever you do, please don't take the wrong one. And that's like my dad in the corner was just like, it was a very like, it was a very emotional moment. Like even for him, like his wife had just went to heaven a few months before, and I'm sitting there with cancer. Well, we didn't know yet.
Yeah.
And so I said, Doc, whatever you do, please don't take the wrong one. And my dad almost bust out laughing. Like it was just one of those moments.
I bet the doc had a hard time with that too.
Yeah.
Oh no.
And he goes, don't worry, Mr. Midkiff, you'll be okay. And dude, they start wheeling me out to go to surgery. I'm awake the whole time. Like I was just like, again, not really had any surgery. I didn't know how this went. Like I was still very much so awake. And I was just like, are they on drugs? Because like, I'm not. You know what I mean?
Right.
And we get in there, and I promise, dude, this is not exaggeration. I see him. The room was fairly small, lights everywhere. I mean, it was like I stepped on stage somewhere. Yeah. And the dude, they're double gloving him because you know how they do the double glove. Yeah. And he's sticking his hands, and I see all this. And then this woman walks over, and she goes, okay, I'm going to count down from 5. And dude, next thing I remember, I was
out.
Yeah. I was waking up, like 3 hours later.
It's all at once.
That's the weirdest feeling.
And the surgery, dude, I think the surgery is probably like 27 minutes long. I think that's what was said on the paper.
Jeez.
Do yourself a favor, though, and do not Google what that surgery looks like. It is.
I don't want to.
It's pretty brutal.
I don't want to see it.
I'm so glad I didn't know.
Yeah, that's
because I probably would have been thinking about it, because they cannot go through the scrotum. They have to go through area up in your hip, and then they reach that mug down and pull it out.
Wow. Oh my God.
Because they cannot say that. I went and saw Dr. Einhorn, who is Lance Armstrong's doctor. He's the guy, and he's done astronauts, and that was my second opinion. Even though I haven't seen a second opinion for the Achilles guy,
right?
I did have a second opinion with cancer.
Yeah.
And my dad and my mom's 2 sisters, we drove up to Indianapolis where he's at, and he's another one of those dudes that's like seen it all. I guess I'm 24 years old at this point. He was like, Jackie, you're young, you're full of health. Like, this is just something you're dealing with. This is not one of those things we're going to, add some time to your life. He goes, we're going to be healed and live the rest of your life.
Right.
And so that was like really good to hear. And with testicular cancer, as common as it is, dude, like I used to know the statistics, but I really don't now. But like so many men between the age of like 20 and 50. And dude, it's like a thing.
Yeah.
And he was like, man, you're young, you're healthy, you have your health. This is just something you're dealing with. And that really just like, set with me in a very calming way. And so I knew that. And they always say, no one wants cancer, but this is, of all of them, this is the one that you would want, because it's, it can be contained. And so have the surgery. I didn't find out for like another month it was actually cancer, because they sent it off to get tested.
Because you just don't know.
You just don't know. And I had a 14-day mandatory on the couch. I mean, I'm cut wide open over here. You know what I mean?
No trucking.
No trucking. And I did feel pretty crappy for, and
sure.
Any sudden movements could open I just was real careful. And then, but I had a show New Year's Eve. I was playing the Island.
Oh.
The first time.
That was then?
And so this year would have been the 3rd time.
Oh, wow.
And so, anyway, I was like, I got to play the show. And they were paying good money. And it's like, I just had a surgery, got to pay for. And so, legit, 14 day on the couch. First thing I did was play the show at the Island. And then I
Wow.
went on the road with Dan and Shay like January 3rd that year.
Wow.
And we were out all of 2017.
What a trooper.
And then that's, of course, that was that part of the story. It came back, it was cancer, and they're like, well, we want to test you every 3 months. We'll come get you a CAT scan and then whatever. And so routinely, every 3 months, everything was clear. It was the very end of August is when CAT scan, didn't like the way the CAT scan came back, PET scan came back, hot, so they call it, and then biopsy. And basically, they said, imagine it's like a dandelion, like blown on dandelion, like there's no way to get all the seeds back.
Mm-hmm.
And so testicular cancer is like natural pathways into the abdomen, to the lungs, to the chest, lymph nodes, brain.
Wow.
And that's what Lance Armstrong had. And so, and they still cured. He had to have surgery on his brain and everything. It was like really bad.
Damn.
Anyway, all that doping, he like held him together for a while.
Something.
By the way, 8,000 to 10,000 men a year have that. So it's 1 in 270 men.
I mean, that's a crazy number.
And the cure rate is 95%.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just,
So
it's
like
a crazy number.
Get checked if you feel weird though. Like, I mean, like you had something that kind of led you to.
Yeah, but
know.
not if something, not the normal stuff that you've had to deal with in the past. I'm just kidding.
Right.
That antibiotic I was talking about does help with that.
Okay, great.
I'm just kidding.
What's it called?
I just told you. It was a really, dude, 2017, man, it was a crazy time in my life. Like I never wanted to be home. I was like, I want to play. I don't care if it is Timbuktu's fair and there are 4 people there. Like, I want to play. I don't want to be in Nashville. I don't want to be in a place that reminds me of my mom. I don't want to be in a place that like I have to see people I know all the time. I didn't want to tell anybody. At this point, I still hadn't told the label or anything. Yeah. And also in 2017, I just started throwing bombs like in my career, like in a good way for me. I was just like, if it ain't working, we're done. If it ain't working, we're done. If it ain't working, we're done. I love to be an inclusive person. And I want, like, my initial dream when I moved here was like all the people that helped me in the beginning, I want them to reap the benefits if I'm a big star one day. Yeah. And the unfortunate truth in that is you're not the bad person if that's not the case. Right. You know what I mean?
And that's a tough pill to swallow.
Dude, it was like, almost like that pill you might have to take. Go to the doctor.
Yeah, what's it called again?
It was really tough for me because I had to make a management change, which I never thought I'd have to do. I made a producer change, never thought I'd have to do. Moving into the world of the record label, it's like Getting Over You, again, was like the only song for me that like had done anything. And I had people, like friends, saying like, this is the one. It debuted on the chart at like 47, like when it came out. We had some pretty good ads in the whole 9. And then the guy who owned my record label sold it. There's just a lot of stuff that went down. He was the one that signed me. We put out the Getting Over You Before Christmas, which every artist knows, or I'll say, if they try to put your song out the week before Christmas, before the shutdown, they want it to fail because that is the worst time to come for a song because everyone forgets about it. They have they have the Luke Bryans of the world they have to play, not me. You know what I mean? And so getting into the new year, Getting Over You starts to do well, like on Spotify and iTunes and stuff. And I'm like, okay. And then I'm like, maybe the label will see that. They just never, like, the talks of the label got few and far between. And I was like, starting to do the math in my head. I was like, okay, I'm okay if you don't want to work with me anymore. Just like, let me go. And I was like in this artist purgatory of like, I couldn't do anything. And so I was paying out of my pocket to go do stuff to promote. I paid a publicist out of my pocket. I paid, like, we did stuff with the Dan and Shay stuff that like, they were so unbelievably kind and they helped me a lot. But all that,
the things you shouldn't really have to do if you're on a label.
Absolutely. And so Getting Over You got to where, I mean, had like 50 million spins. Right. And I mean, that's crazy. That was good for us.
That's incredible.
You know what I mean? And so
that's great for like anyone.
Well, I mean, that's insane. I was just really thankful that it was, and the dude at Spotify was like, hey man, I'm not taking it off the hot country because it's still doing well. I was like, okay. And the guy who owned the label previously called me. He's like, hey, he's an old man. He's like, hey buddy, how's it going? Just calling to check in with a few artists. And I was like, man, honestly, not well. Like, this is what it's doing here. And he goes, well, your song should be like in the top 20 right now. I'm like, Benny, my song is at 46 and it came in the chart at 47. in December. And
wow.
he, through like the way that when BMG bought Broken Bow, he basically got to pardon an artist, like 2 artists, I think, in his contract. And I begged him, and he said, okay. Wow. And so he pardoned me, and I had like no debt, no anything. And so that was crazy. It seems like going backwards in a lot of ways, but that was probably in my career the biggest blessing that I'd ever been given.
That's like doesn't happen.
Yeah. And so, and getting over, you kept doing well. We kept touring. And I felt like for the first time, I still had my publishing deal, but I was like becoming like more and more like chains were coming off of like what I wanted to do. And getting over, you gave me a little confidence to be like, see, you do know like what works. Just like keep fighting for it. And anyway, again, trying to make a long story long here, but August, I went back for another routine checkup and came back, and I had to do all the scans. And then basically doc came in and was like, and he was like devastated too. And he was like, man, we're going to have to do chemo.
Yeah.
And I said, really? Like, it's like that way? And he goes, yeah. And so, and he goes, the good news is it's like really small in your body right now. It's not like everywhere. I said, well, can we push it to start in October, very end of October? And because I have shows through December. And I was like, I'm going to play these shows with chemo. And so we started the first run of chemo October 17th or something like that. And I played shows. My last run of shows had to be the weekend before Thanksgiving. I did like Lansing, Michigan, Ohio State's campus, whatever that city is, and then Cleveland. And when I got to the Cleveland show, I was so sick. It was probably just like a normal cold or whatever. But dude, I was fevering, crazy. I mean, I was like unbelievably sick.
Yeah, you're probably going through like all the repercussions of that stuff.
Absolutely.
And
you're also talking to the guy that didn't go to the doctor when he ruptured his Achilles.
Right. But to go that far and be going through chemo is insane. Like, you got to have like a little bit of a screw loose, Jackie.
I think so.
Is it the Maryville?
You call me a nut, I guess. So I played that show that night.
Whoa. Sorry. I saw your hand move.
That's how we have to start the podcast, by the way.
Yeah, we should start.
We just don't have our cowboy hats on.
Yeah.
Damn. And we don't have long hair anymore.
Dude.
Both of us had long hair when we met.
What a turn we just took. Yes.
Sorry.
The hair is gone, and I kind of miss it.
I mean, kind of.
But
I only miss it when I want to put it in like have a good hat day.
Right, and it's cool. It's cooler with the windows down in a car.
Way cooler. But when you hop out of that shower, dude, and you just go, and you're done.
That's a win.
It's a win.
It is a win.
So they do kind of even out.
Yeah.
We go to chemo, come back from that, and I had to go straight to the emergency room. I had a buddy playing bass for me that run, and he's like an artist too. And I was like, man, you got to sing some of these songs. And I was feeling the pressure, like letting the promoter down, like all this stuff. Mm-hmm. But the promoter was amazing, and he had to sing like 6 of the songs in that set that night because I literally had no voice to be able to do it. And I, like an idiot, I should have went to the hospital there, but I just like, I got to get back home. Mm-hmm. And it was like a 10-hour ride in the van, and I did not pee. I did not get up one time. I didn't do anything. We just drove straight, and they took me to the emergency room. And I got to the doctor, and of course it was like, the next morning or whatever, and it wasn't like an appointment. But I went straight to the emergency room, and they were like, they started hooking me up with stuff. They're like, what is wrong with you? Like, you have no platelets, you have no white blood cells, you don't really have red blood cells. What is wrong with you? And I'm like, I'm on my 2nd round of chemo. They're like, what? And they got all mad at me and stuff. And so
wow.
I had to spend, that next morning I had to go back to the doc anyway. And so they took care of me there, went back, and like that same week my hair fell out. And like I knew that at that point it was over, and I had to cancel all my shows for the rest of the year. And so it was it was tough. It sucked.
Did you have to cancel because like it just like your confidence and everything was like at a low, or you just felt that bad? Or
I mean, if anything, I would have tried.
Yeah,
but I mean,
I was gonna say I don't think you not having hair would have stopped you. My God, I think you could cut your leg off and a couple arms and your nose, and you still go perform.
I think that guy almost did. What he wants to do.
Yeah.
I mean, it definitely was. I was pretty puny at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was.
Yeah.
It really sucked. And also, like, so the way it worked was I had a deal kind of like I would do extra rounds of chemo during the week to be able to go play the shows.
Right.
Because we typically have to leave Thursday and play Thursday or Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Damn, bro.
And so, but after that, I was like, I can't do it. I mean, it was
That's crazy. You went that far though. Like even like
show must go on, I guess. But
that's crazy.
and also just trying to keep like a little bit of like normalcy to my life. Like it was just, I was looking back and dude, I was just like, I don't even recognize this. Like who? I mean, I feel like my friend should be going through this. Like I shouldn't be going through this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was so odd.
Yeah.
But here we are.
Man, that's crazy. It's crazy that you pushed through all of it. I don't think anyone that I know could ever do that.
Yeah,
like,
dude. I I appreciate you saying that, but man, it's just one of those deals where, I think we're all a lot tougher than we think.
Yeah.
And so like when we go through something like that, especially with people that we love, and it was honestly, man, it was a big turning point in my life to allow people to take care of me.
Yeah.
Because again, I come from a culture of like a very loving family that always does for each other, but still things that can be done, I want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, literally it took me getting to the point to where I couldn't.
Right.
And so I don't know. I learned a big lesson. I feel like fortunately probably early on in my life to like, I mean, I know that I don't always have it figured out, but like, it's okay to let people care for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
As long as you're caring for yourself.
Right. Totally.
Yeah.
And I think that's where people go wrong, is that they'll like solely rely on like other people or just solely rely on themselves. And that's like, it's hard to find that balance.
Yeah.
So that's cool, man.
Yeah, dude. It's a weird time, but we got out of that. And I think it was probably 2018 that when I finished chemo in January and got into 18, and I still had some like contracted shows that were paying pretty good that I needed to do and which I wanted to do. And I did a few of those, but I went to have a meeting with my publisher and I was like, appreciate you guys. You've been awesome, but like, I want to leave.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, we want to give it one more year. And I was like, okay. So we did that. 18 kind of took up that time. And then, dude, after I started finishing up those shows, I was like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. Like I coming off such a fresh, like your life flashing before your eyes. I was like, dude, I think there's probably a million other things I could do to like find happiness and fulfillment and feel like I'm not a piece of crap.
Yeah.
Like every other person that I know almost, And so after I basically found out over Christmas that I was going to be able to get out of my contract going into 2019. And I got out of my publishing deal in February of 19. And that was the first time since I had moved to Nashville that my name was not associated with a dotted line. Wow. And dude, that was like super scary, but man, it felt unbelievable. Like it felt really good. And so I had like 700 and something thousand airline points saved up.
Whoa.
Between like Southwest and American.
Flex.
Yeah. And it was just because of years of the label just making me do all this stuff.
Right.
And so I was like, I'm going to burn them all. Like every one of them.
Did you?
And even if I have like 400 left and I can like put that on a rental car, I'm going to do it.
Did you do it?
Absolutely.
Where'd you go?
Anywhere Southwest and American would fly.
Nice.
And dude, it was, dude, I have times that I will remember forever in that little period that I'll be able to tell my kids about. Like one of the most fun trips, because I almost moved to Santa Monica, almost moved to Brooklyn. A buddy of mine, I had two buddies that had room situations. I was going to get like straight up regular job. It wouldn't have been long term, but it would have probably been for like a year. And I mean, at this point, I don't regret not doing that, but also I know sitting here right now, I wouldn't regret if I did.
Right. Yeah.
One of the most fun trips I did was I flew up to New York City, stayed for like 3 days, and I walked like 52 miles. And, I mean, I did everything that a tourist can do, I think, in New York City. Like, I mean, legit everything, including going to Serendipity.
Oh, nice.
You ever seen that movie?
Nope.
What?
I haven't.
Make Ellen, dude, don't even tell her.
Serendipity.
Do it before this podcast comes out. Not that she's probably going to watch me on this podcast anyway.
I feel like I've heard of it, but I don't know if I've.
I love a good rom-com.
Is it it's a good rom-com?
It's great. And it's about these John Cusack, Kate Beckinsale. They meet. I feel like this is a bit. It's not. It's real life. They meet at serendipity.
Okay.
Or they meet and then they go to serendipity. And serendipity means, yes, I have this on DVD. No shame. I don't have shame. Not about this.
This looks like
it's one of the greatest movies of all time.
She almost has your old hairstyle.
And he has yours now.
You were inspired. You had no idea. That's why.
Wow.
We could have fallen in love, dude.
Where was I? What year was this?
That's what we'll call this episode. Serendipity.
Serendipity, dude. That would make my whole life. It's on my Instagram. I got because they have frozen hot chocolates, and I'm just like chilling at Serendipity, and it's just like one of the greatest moments of my life.
That's cool.
But we go to the dude from Entourage is in Serendipity. What's his name?
The funny dude?
Yeah.
The super funny dude?
Super funny guy. Oh my God. I follow him on Instagram. What's his name?
I haven't seen either movie or either show or movie.
You would love that show. That show is unreal.
Oh, I'm blanking so hard right now.
I can't think of his name either, but
he plays the dude from William Morris in Entourage.
One of our mutual friends saw him.
Jeremy Piven.
Oh.
He's amazing.
Oh, this guy?
Jeremy Piven is in Serendipity.
I thought you were talking about this guy. He was in Nashville recently.
Yeah, he was just, I'm pretty sure he was at my house at 4 a.m. when Jared Mullins brought him over.
Shut up.
And like, you know how many times I've had to kick Morgan Wallen and that guy and other artists out of my house at 4 a.m. because they're so loud in the living room?
That guy was there?
I think so.
You just go in there kicking him?
I've literally had to kick out it's probably been 3 separate times. Or just, not kick out, but it's just like, bro, it's 4 a.m. Like, go somewhere else or like go to the backyard.
Yeah. Man.
I love Jared Mullins so much though. He's one of my best friends.
Where's he at?
I don't know. We just wrote I think a pretty cool song last week.
Yeah?
Yeah.
He's a
Anyway, sorry, I keep getting sidetracked, but I almost moved to Brooklyn because I went up there for like 4 days, walked 50 miles, and then I rode the train down to Washington, D.C., and I spent like 4 days in D.C., and I did all the little museums, and you can do so much for free.
You go by yourself?
In D.C. Yeah.
That's cool.
It was amazing.
That's cool.
And I made friends with this old lady on the train. Like, it was awesome. Like, I'm always just going to remember stuff like that. I rode up the one in a convertible. Just like kind of stuff that like you always hear about and people do. And I was single at the time and just didn't have any responsibility in Nashville, like write songs or put music out. And I was like,
you're just free for a little bit.
I was free for a little bit.
That's cool.
It was cool, man.
That's fun.
Yeah.
That's really fun.
Now
you're doing great though.
I was gonna ask, going back to you talked about throwing bombs in your career in a good way and everything. Was that a just maturity thing, or was that a takeaway you think from what you were going through at the time?
I think both. I mean, I feel like it came from a place of the initial place it came from was, okay, I've realized that I have to do this. Maybe leaned on a little bit too much other people, saying do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, like I have to trust myself that like I'm, not dumb. And one thing that I don't understand with like being at a record label or just in general, it doesn't matter. Just for me, it was a record label is I never understood, like, do you not think that I want my career to do well? Like, do you think that I want to bomb and like be forgotten forever?
Right.
Because it felt like every maybe idea or whatever we had, it was like they took it as a career suicide or something. And like, that's just not like what I was trying to ever do. Like I was trying my best to like be successful.
Right.
And so in that moment of like, okay, you know what? This doesn't work. So I don't want to be here anymore.
So you wanted to have like kind of like your own trial and error. And
yeah.
They were like, we have it all figured out. You should do it this way.
And also going back to one of the first things I said, yes.
Yeah.
And of being like the guy that wanted to be so loyal and making we did this together. Like, also you can outstay your welcome. Mm-hmm. And that was another tough one for me to go through of just understanding. It's like, no, it's not, it just doesn't work. It's just not working.
Things have seasons.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that season of my life was, I was starting a new one, I guess. Mm-hmm. And it had, dude, probably of all the things that was tough in my career was being able to, when T-Rob or another buddy from back home, or my dad's a pastor of a church, so I'd go to the church and like they'd all ask, what I was doing. And I was so afraid to say, that I did not have something going on. And I think you probably see it all over Instagram every day of like people that are just like, got this going on, got this going on. And I was like, I don't. And I want to be okay that I don't. And so it almost got too bad the other way where someone called me like, what are you working on? Nothing. What kind of song did you write this week? I didn't write. I've not written in 6 months, you know?
Yeah.
Are you going to the studio? No, I'm not. You know, like nothing is happening.
Right.
I'm like, what are you doing? I don't know.
Just glorifying doing absolutely nothing.
And at first, like, that was awesome. You know, like life settles in. You're like, okay, I can't like live off of whatever, you know, candy forever. I got to go get some substance. But yeah, that was like unbelievably freeing for me. And not that my dad is probably the most like honorable dude that I've ever met in my life. But even for him, for a guy that had put so much, and my mom and my dad, but put so much into my dreams of trying to make it happen for me and just believing in me maybe when no one else did.
Yeah.
And for me to look at him and say, I'm not working on anything, I didn't want to let him down. And so, but also my dad is, you know, he told me too, he's like, if you are okay, if you're taking care, you're not letting me down, you know? And so, man, things like that is priceless to me.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Because, like, what are we, like, either you had this amount of stuff do good on Spotify or you didn't, so that's how we know if you're a piece of crap or not? Yeah. I mean, come on. You know? It has nothing to do with that. I do want to be successful. I do want to have plaques with my name that have a little number 1 beside it. Like, those are all things, but, like, I'm not going to, like, fall off the face of the earth if I don't.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So getting through all that was tough, but it was awesome.
How did you get yourself to the point where you're like, this is okay that nothing's going on?
I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, all right, no, I'm just kidding. I did do that.
Listen.
All right, tear your Achilles and go to this doctor.
You're going to reach the bottom. You're going to the NBA.
That was the pivot.
You went back to the dream. You're like, this all makes sense. This all makes sense now.
I would go out and shoot in Edgehill Village and just imagine there's a scout in the bush watching me, dude.
Yeah. I know why I'm not doing music right now.
If I make 8 shots in a row, the guy from the 76ers is going to walk out and say, which is actually another story. We played at Edgehill. Remember those kids yelling at us?
Oh, my God.
Jed got really mad. I took up for you.
Yeah, well, I didn't I got like quiet mad. I just couldn't believe it was happening. But these kids, we were all just playing a friendly group, like just pick up basketball. Just everyone's having a good time. And these kids walk by and just start throwing rocks at us.
What?
Yeah, they're just like throwing rocks at us. And I was like, what? And then everyone starts yelling.
And one of them said, your mama something. No, I said, oh, yeah, well, your mama. I was going right back at
No,
him.
he told you to turn your music off. And you said no. And you said, you know what? This is the ringtone when your mama's calling. And it was some like really epic rap song. I can't remember which one it was.
How old are these kids?
12.
Probably 12.
I mean, maybe teenagers.
And you told them you'd see them in a little bit. You're coming to see their mama or something.
I'll tuck you in later.
Yeah, like we were like close to catching like bullets.
We
probably.
were not. They were like teenagers. I know what
that
the
doesn't
bullets
mean
look
anything
like
in Nashville.
Yeah, you're right.
That doesn't.
I mean, where
anything.
we were playing Edgehill, so you know the hood's like 2 streets
it's right
over.
There.
I mean,
it's right there.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up going to a school in the hood, so
yeah,
I just kind of knew how to fire back.
Yeah, you did, and you got them, dude. They were pissed. They were super pissed.
One of them was throwing rocks.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
and Jed was like doing the fist thing.
Who does that?
His sights were just like
the Arthur.
It doesn't do anything. It's just so pissed.
Just
like I don't know what to do. It's like 8-year-old black kids. Like I don't know what to do. Like I'm just gonna squeeze the air.
You gonna fight them? Like yeah.
Yeah.
They duke it out. I thought Jackie was gonna.
No, I know like there's a difference in just like I've been in like probably 3 fights, and I feel like you can tell the difference in a bluff.
Sure.
And then like, oh, they can actually beat me up.
When it starts with they're 8, so that's the first thing you notice.
That's true too, Jed.
That is true.
But I mean,
it's like
there's also a fence between us. Like so, the threat was not imminent.
That was safe.
Well, actually, this brings it all back nicely to what is this kickball story?
Oh God.
Oh man.
I'm glad we got to it this way because segueing from cancer would have been really difficult.
Yeah.
Nah, I can segue anything. Segues are weird.
Yeah.
We go to we're in a very competitive Is it called intramural? If that's
No, it's just like a
guys and girls.
Co-ed.
Co-ed, that's the
Yeah.
word. It's not intramural.
Yeah.
Co-ed kickball league. And we had already played a season. This is the second season.
Yeah.
And because of COVID, the games kept getting stretched and stretched and stretched. So like a season that maybe should have took maybe 5-6 weeks,
Right.
lasted a whole year.
Yeah.
And it was that this year?
This was last year. This was before Christmas, right?
But it was cold.
Yeah, it was cold. It was before. Let me preface this before he like goes into this, that saying that like we have the nicest kickball team. Like we just have a great time. Everyone's goofing off. There's some beer. There's good music. We're all just having like a really great time. We don't have intentions of being like mean towards anyone.
And no one was mean toward us.
Right, because it was just, it's co-ed kickball. My God, like yes,
at West Park in Nashville,
Yeah.
It was super chill, dude. Like
it's
it was
super calm.
super calm
Most of the time. Like I understand the competitiveness because like I'm a competitive person. I hate to lose. I'd almost rather die than lose sometimes.
I hate
it.
lose. I
I'll
really
think
do.
about it. I can't sleep.
But the difference in growing up and hating to lose is being able to slap the other team's hand and legit we're all going to the same bar after this. It's okay.
Yeah.
And it was kickball.
It was kickball.
Now we had a pretty good team.
Yeah.
It was Ben and Jared and you and Ellen and Courtney, my girlfriend, and Sam and his wife Hannah, and like we had some athletes on the team.
Yep.
Like, there was like it was good. And there were teams that were better than us, but like somehow we just kept winning.
Yeah. We had a good season.
Anyway, so this team earlier in the season, it was still warm outside. This is how this got started. You remember, right?
Yeah, I do.
So I was playing shortstop, third base, something like that.
Third.
And Paul DiGiovanni, my producer, was in Boys Like Girls. Loved the guy. We all love him. He something happened with his finger. Oh, he was playing catcher, and they tried to throw it home to get someone out, and it jammed his finger pretty bad. Being the doctor that I'm not, I said, I can fix that.
You said it's like string cheese, kind of.
You're string cheese. You're still good to drive.
Is it doing this? You're still good to
You're still good to drive.
But anyway, I said, I can try to, set it if you want me to. And he was like, yeah, sure, try. So our team at this point is around the pitcher's mound figuring this out. The other team obviously sees what's going on. It's not like we're like trying to ice them or anything. It's just that he jammed his finger. So I'm like, I pulled it and it just was what it was. But we're at probably 5 minutes. This woman yells at us. And again, going back to like from the stories that we're telling in this podcast, it probably seems like I'm a hothead. I'm really not. I just don't fare well with people that are mean. And you know what? There's always going to be mean people. You're never, ever, ever going to be able to get back at people with meanness. I've read all the, life guidance counselor photos in the room. Okay, I know what they are. But also there's just like a thing that just like, it's a switch that flips for me.
Yeah.
So she starts yelling. She goes, what are we doing? Like, can we not play ball? Ref, is this not illegal? And I said, shut up. His finger got jammed. We're trying to fix it. And they told that girl's like, chill out, their team.
Yeah.
That was pretty much it. But for the rest of the time, they're still kind of like a-holes. So that girl. And then I found out her 6'8" boyfriend who played, which that don't scare me at all. It's like, if you're going to beat me up, you're going to beat me up, but I'm going to try.
He's not 6'8". He's like
a big guy. 6'6".
You think?
He was like taller than me for sure.
He gets taller every time we tell the story.
This guy was 7'4".
You should have seen this guy.
Anyway, it is what it is. We end up having to play this team in the championship.
Of course.
And so, the way the championship worked was you had a couple games. And so we played a game, sat out a game, championship game. And they start walking down, and everybody's like, crap. But again, I'm like, yeah, it's fine. It's like, it is what it is. Because that was nothing. You know what I mean? That was just like a little precursor. We get to the game. We're beating them by like 6 runs. And no, I take that back. We had went up like 3 runs in the first inning because we kicked first, and then they're up. And she was the first one up. And so she gets on base or whatever and gets the second. And we ended up getting 3 outs. And do you remember this?
I watched the whole thing happen, yeah.
And so at this point, everybody knew that this particular woman, if you're watching this, I have nothing against you. It was just like, it is what it is. I'm playing third base. I'm telling you, I got her out because they literally kicked the ball to me. I went and stepped on the base. Or they kicked it to Jared. Someone just dribbled a ball to the
Yeah,
pitcher.
threw it to you,
He
though.
threw it to me. I got her out by probably 20 yards. I mean, she hadn't even left the base by the time I got her out. She continues to run. Okay, also, like, okay, imagine this. My left foot is on the bag, and my right foot is stretching toward the pitcher. I am like as far, A, there's no reason for her to touch the base. She got out 4 years ago.
Yep.
B, I could be as far away as you can imagine. She continues to run full speed. I'm holding the ball, just chilling. She continues to run full and just takes both arms and hits me.
She tried to truck him. It was so far done. Like,
if it was close as hell, I can never imagine trying to do that to somebody. B, she was out forever.
Yeah. It's like a fly landing on this table and flying away for 5 minutes and me just being like,
Exactly.
almost had him.
Yeah. And so everyone on our team, because Jed had kind of ran up at this point because it was like the last out. Everyone on our team goes, what? Like everyone just stops and everybody's kind of like, what? And because the ref didn't say anything. And I just like, I literally, and I tell you, I said 0 words. I did it. I didn't say a word.
You actually, you were just like, what? Everyone was like, what the heck? I'm pretty sure I yelled like, that was nice. Like,
yeah, it's that kind of thing. So here's where I made a mistake. We scored some more runs. We're up like 6 or whatever. They're up to bat again. She's up again. And she strikes out. Do you know how hard it is to strike out in kickball?
It's not.
You could kick with your, the only way that it might be tough to strike out is if you keep fouling them off.
Yeah.
Right.
But like a clean strikeout, like a swing and a miss, kind of tough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Are there called strikes in kickball?
Absolutely.
Yes.
There's an
over the plate, you just don't swing.
There's like drunk umpires.
Like you have like 6 inches, 6 inches, right, guys?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how you guys measure 6 inches, right?
Yeah.
You have 6 inches on either side of the plate if it's within that strike. If not, it's pretty easy to tell every time because it's either coming over the plate or it's not.
Yeah.
And so
it also depends on how the drunk umpire's feeling, though.
That's true. That's true.
Because you never know.
But this was not even like I'm going to let it pass and he called it a strike and she swung and missed.
Okay.
And so this is where I made my mistake. I own it, but I don't regret it.
Right.
That happened. No one even saw me, I didn't think. No one saw me. Because I literally it was freezing cold. I had my hands in my hoodie and the whole 9. She gets out and I just go.
That's fine.
Just waved at her.
That's fine.
She didn't even see me wave at her. I did it for, what is that? 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. That's 2 seconds.
That's very tame.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't say like, sit down. You know what I mean? I didn't do any of that. And we're already winning by like 6-0. Whatever. It just was what it was. So that inning went a little longer for whatever reason. And her boyfriend, who was the pitcher, at this point, I just put it together. They're together. And I'm standing kind of on the base because not really much is happening. Oh, not on the base, just like near the base, hands in the hoodie, straight ahead. Had not said a word the whole game yet. All right. They, this other bigger dude who was unbelievably unathletic looking. Like you could just tell it's like, I could jog faster and then you could sprint toward to get me. So I'm fine. I can run away from here. Because, my first thought is not like, can I beat this guy up? It's just like, I don't, if I need to get away, I can too. I've been in 3 fights. I've only won 1. Like, I know what it's like to lose a fight. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not like that guy that gets in a fight with everybody. I don't want to fight anybody, ever. But I'm not scared to.
Yeah.
They come and stand as close as they can to the third base, on the third base line.
While you're playing third.
While I'm playing third.
Yeah.
Everybody kind of, Jed had a good view because he played the outfield right next to me. And he could kind of see it. And they're just talking about me. I never look at them, never say a word. I could care less. And inning ends, and I start to walk in, and they tried to like almost like hurry walk to like brush me, get close to me. And they never like brushed me, but he got close to me. And he said, I'll beat his ass right now. Talking to the boyfriend.
To her, not directly at you, but loud enough that you
no, the boyfriend talking to the other big guy. And I was probably close to the pitcher's mound at this point. I turned around and said, you ain't going to do shit. And he charged me. Did he not?
Yeah, he did.
Charged me.
He ran right up.
Charged me. So the first thing I did, when you think all the thoughts you thought in that moment. Mm-hmm. I was like, do I spear him? Like, do I tackle him? Yeah. Do I wait for, because
Do I spear him?
I'm thinking of like self-defense. I'm like,
pick up a fistful of dirt in
honestly,
the eyes,
dude,
right
I'm a dirty fighter. I want to fight to win. I don't want to like fight to get like,
Kick up a dust cloud and then
if
disappear.
we're in this position, you're probably going to win.
Sure.
I only have element of surprise. That's the only way.
Should I spear him?
Because my thought was like, I can tell, he's running really high. Like I played football for a long time. I can take him down at least. Yeah. And hopefully by that point, Jed will come in and tomahawk kick this guy. Something. My only problem was my whole team had their back turned to what was going on. Because they were already like, I was just walking off, I was jogging off. And so no one saw it except like Jed. Yeah. And because Jed was like the first one on the scene because he was jogging from the outfield. And so what happened, he ran full speed at me. And after I provoked, I didn't provoke, I just responded. And he had a hoodie on and I grabbed his collar and I said, hit me. And he was like all in my face, just like, dude, I said, hit me. And he wouldn't do it. And I mean, I was like, I look back on that moment, I was like, even legally would I've been, and I think the answer is no, like they would have had to assault me for me to not go to jail or be self-defense. So thank the Lord I didn't swing. But he came at me full speed and I'm like, he's tall, I'm looking up, but I had him and I was pulling him down to my face. And I was like, hit me. And he never swung. And at this point, Jed, Sam, Jared, everybody was like, back off.
We were out there, dude.
Well, then for another 10 minutes, the girlfriend just started going, I said, shut up. Like literally, nobody wants to hear you right now. Shut up. And they're like, hey, don't talk to a girl. I said, shut up. I just kept yelling.
Like it was just a constant like back and forth. And like really the only solution was to shut up.
I said,
like,
obviously you guys are perfect for each other. Shut up.
Oh boy.
And they anyway kept going, and then it all kind of calmed down. No fists were thrown, nothing. A girl from there, I didn't play the rest of the game. They were like, go play. I was like, nope, not worth it to me. We're already winning. I just don't care. And another girl from their team, and the best part is like they were the team that would bring the speaker, and they were always playing like Christian music, which I'm all here for, but it's just like so funny to me. Oh, absolutely.
They were playing Christian music?
I don't think so much that last game, but the other game, they're all just like, cause that was a church. That's a church team.
Right.
I'm not kidding you.
Oh, that's right.
I wish you led with that.
It was there was a church.
It's a church team. I'm
co-ed kickball team.
Yeah.
And anyway, again, not that that's like. I mean, I'm a Christian as well, and you saw me like.
For sure, but also when you're represented
on
a team, you do hold yourself to that standard.
So it just was what it was. But again, those are the moments that I look back. I felt like, even speaking of that, I felt really guilty like the next morning and stuff because I was just kind of like, I could have shut up. I could have shut up too.
I mean, you didn't really do anything wrong though, and it was agged on and it was epic and fun.
But in the same way, those kids were like saying stuff, and I was like, "This is your mama's ringtone" when she calls me. Like I didn't have to say that.
That was quick. That was quick though.
That's what gets me in trouble. It's just like, but that game I didn't say anything. I literally didn't say anything, and she truly hit me like with like this. Not that it hurt. I'm just saying it happened. Honestly, it hurts, dude.
Honestly.
But anyway, we and so I'm not going to name the name, but a buddy of mine who was on that team, who you know well, he said, I thought you would think this is funny. And she's like, is trying to be an Instagram influencer and stuff. And like every post is like, hey guys, so this word today is just like, oh man, I wish I would just comment, but like, yeah, but you lost though. Just like,
man.
Just like, I don't even know the girl's name or who she was. He just told me that, but
you should do just the waving emoji.
Just so petty about a co-ed.
I'm not above.
Yeah, you don't understand that like it does get like competitive. Like it starts as like the fun thing, and then it like slowly, you're like, all right, guys, should we have a practice? And everyone's like,
in the same way, pick up basketball, like we're playing pick up basketball. Of course, we're competitive. We've all been competitive in our life. We're in a competitive business. I love to be competitive. I think it's like a good driving factor. But like, if you can't slap dude's butt walking off the court and saying "love you, man," like you messed up.
Yeah, that's true. Let's talk about East Tennessee, dude. How do we not know each other growing up? Because we grew up.
You were homeschooled, so you never left the house ever.
That's right. I was in the basement.
The better question is how we didn't see each other at Dollywood
or anywhere. I mean,
or my dad even went to
30. That right there.
What is that?
The Dollywood season pass.
That's a carrying permit.
Yeah.
for a funnel cake at Dollywood.
I'm kidding.
You flash this bad boy around, they'll give you a candy apple and kettle corn and a funnel cake.
Wow.
Yeah, you're welcome,
Yeah.
Podcastville.
That's a real thing to have. Dollywood is so fun though. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know how we didn't like at some point bump into each other. We grew up 40 minutes away, 35
Yeah, I
minutes away
mean,
from
but
the park.
that's just, I mean, I could say that for people that live in Maryville that I know now. Like a good friend of mine, JP Burris, who he's a coach back home and stuff. We're the same age, graduated the same year. Like we didn't really know each other growing up until like later. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like even Sevierville and Pigeon Forge and all that, I mean, we were up there all of the time.
Right.
Like that was the only, which it worked out for us. Like that was like one of the only places my mom would let us go. But it felt like we went to Vegas.
Right. It's like
When you're like 16, 17, your mom like lets you go to a place.
yeah.
And we could drive up and spend the day and then like even wait till it gets a little dark, you know, and it's just like you felt wild.
See the arcade signs come on.
Absolutely.
The go-karts.
We spent more time in Gatlinburg though than even Pigeon Forge because like we just park and walk around for hours and do nothing but just do that.
Right.
And
so
we
many
made
steps
friends
up
with
and down that hill.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We'd go up to Ober and ice skate, and I had a season pass to Ober Gatlinburg to snowboard
Really?
for 4 years in a row. And 2 of those years they refunded me and just carried over because it didn't snow.
Because it was that crappy, dude. Did you ever snowboard there? And it was like you would have been better off going out in your yard and slinging some ice cubes.
Absolutely.
And just hopping on those.
I cannot probably how many concussions I have from just. I mean, it was like concrete. It was just ice. It was just. I don't know if you've been, but like it's. I mean, maybe in the last few years it's been good because of actual snow, but
it's not their fault. I mean, it's like Mother Nature, but like, I mean, they try, and that's what makes it kind of like get slick is that man-made snow.
That was my only experience for literally 4 or 5 years.
Of people going over it all day, and it's literally you could ice skate on it. It's crazy.
You really could.
Yeah.
First time I went to Colorado, I was like, "This is what this is like."
Yeah.
It was wild. So.
I still haven't been out west. I've gone like
in
to
general,
Cataloochee.
or just
no. I've been out like.
You haven't left East Tennessee? My God, Jed.
I haven't. I have never been outside the state. I would love to see what's out there.
I'm
just putting that out there. If
Sevier
anyone
County.
watches this and wants to take me outside of the state, I'm down for it. Let me ask my mom now.
No, dude. I mean, we just talked about this on the way over here. It was so funny. We were talking just in general. He goes, "Wait, save that. Wait, save that," because like we got to. Not that we would
Let's
ever.
just not talk the whole way.
Jed and I would never, ever, ever have anything to not talk about because that's all we do. But we were talking about how he just went and spent some time in East Tennessee, and I'm so thankful to be from there.
Me too.
Because people from all over the country and the world travel to go see it.
Yeah.
But also it being home already, and then being able to just go back for the holidays, or for us, like we can, if we have like enough time in a weekend, we can go.
Right.
And just being there for a day, like my lifelong goal is to have an honorary Dollywood season pass because Dolly knows who I am. So
that would be really cool.
It's a legitimate goal of mine. Put it on my vision board.
Dolly, if you happen to see this man.
Absolutely.
Solid representation.
No, I love it, dude. I love being from there. Like where I'm from is they call it the foothills. You're pretty much in the mountains.
Yeah.
And then we were the foothills. Yeah. And so, but we could like equally be Decades Cove at the same time.
Right.
Everybody
beautiful place.
knows, I guess, that place because of Blackberry Farms.
Mm-hmm.
And like, oh my God, you're from Maryville. Did you go to Blackberry Farms? I'm like, no. If you're from
just go hang
Maryville,
out at the 5-star resort.
Yeah, if you're from Maryville, you don't because you can't afford it.
Yeah.
Like,
you don't just go hang there.
I personally don't know anyone that can afford $25,000 a night to stay at a cabin.
Right. But we are lucky to be from there. I've at this point traveled a little bit and seen some cool places in the world, and even after seeing like the world and the beautiful things in California, and it's like you don't realize how beautiful home East Tennessee is, like Sevierville, Gatlinburg, like all of it, like until you've been away from it, which is like I mean that's kind of the beauty of stepping away from certain things, is to like be able to take it in when you go back. But I didn't even realize it till I had traveled a little bit. It is so beautiful, and if anyone hasn't been, I would recommend it.
I mean, even people living in Nashville that have moved here from California or wherever, because I mean, again, growing up there, it was such a weird thing because it's like within 300 miles of like every southern state. It's like the way it's centrally located, and people just flock there. I mean, even now, it's not that it's new that people come. It's just always been that way.
Right.
So, I mean, I love it.
Yeah. They talk about like, I will say this, not to just like hate on home, but like it's like I just recently went to Miami, and I went before like the spring break thing hit, and so it wasn't like super packed or anything. It was kind of crappy weather, but most people and places wore masks, and I heard that it's not like that now with the spring break and stuff.
Yeah.
But like East Tennessee, like Pigeon Forge and stuff, they don't even know. Like
I don't think
it's the locals.
I don't think
so
they
much
knew Corona was a thing.
Like maybe not the locals, but like I see so many people like visiting stuff. When I was just back home, I was like, oh my God, like it's just like no one gives a heck.
Well, I mean, I've always been, especially throughout this time, it's like I feel like you have so many people from the South that are like, all right, wear no mask. I'm like, okay, I'll wear the mask. It's not a big deal. It's like, especially if it makes you more comfortable, you know, like don't shame me for not wearing a mask in my car by myself.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
'Cause there's those people in the world too,
Yeah.
but it's like, I definitely, if I go to the grocery store, do anything I need to do, it's like, I can wear the mask, chill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm talking about like
But
Aubrey's.
you go to frickin' Pigeon Forge, and it's as if that it's almost like no information has entered that place since 1987.
Yeah.
Because it's been the same since then, and like nobody has a mask.
But it's really like the tourists though. I mean, I'm sure there's like local people and stuff too, but mainly like the tourists. Like
The tourists are all from the South.
like,
They're like
it's
all
like-
just like, well, we can't fly anywhere. Let's just drive up to Pigeon Forge, I guess.
Yes.
Go to Cades Cove, look at some deer.
Servers are like taking their mask off to hear you. What'd you say, sir? It's like, what? You didn't have to do that. Who had the Alfredo? Like you take the mask down to see.
You're like, yeah, sure, sir.
It's different. It's different, but like that stuff aside, it is paradise though. Like it
I love it.
resets me every time, and it shows me that like, you know, that really is like my roots. And
Did you have
I
that
loved it.
feeling when? Because I did for a second, but when you were about to graduate high school and you just had all these hopes and dreams, did you have the feeling of like, I'm never coming back here?
I was really scared you were gonna say friends. No, I definitely.
That's probably a more poignant question, actually.
No, I'm kidding. But no, I thought I was like never like gonna want to come back.
Yeah,
I was like,
same.
I'm out.
Yeah.
Like this has like been like great, thankful for it, but like I just want to go out and see the world. I feel like my little sister's kind of going through that right now.
Yeah.
And I remember what that feels like, and it's not a good feeling, but once you do step away, it allows you to kind of like appreciate the beauty.
It's crazy how a place can just make you feel emotions.
Crazy.
And like, I mean, like peace and like,
Yeah.
you know, just that kind of thing.
Just little things.
Just
too.
actually physically being there makes you feel all the things that like were attached to maybe our childhoods or and I know you and I have wonderful parents. I know it's not that way for everybody, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It's odd, and I'm thankful too. At an earlier age, I was able to. I mean, I've not traveled the world by any means, but as soon as Southwest flies there, though, we're going.
Yeah.
I've not been able to do that. I've traveled the country. It feels like I've made a circle around it probably 4 or 5 times at this point. But being able to have that experience to cherish home really helped.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure. And it would probably be different if we didn't have like good experiences and stuff like that, because there are people who've been through the not so good side of the family, and you know,
and even mom, just like I feel her when I'm there.
Yeah.
That's when I think of when I see the mountains, when I roll up to my dad's property that I grew up on, like just all of those things make me feel her.
Yeah.
And that's like, you know, important to me. It
Totally.
really is. It's like,
Totally.
not that I don't feel her with me or in a situation know what she would have to say about it, because I feel like I do, but just being able to in the moment just be like, not say a word, not really, just go sit and just chill, and just all my memories, pretty much all of them are in East Tennessee with her.
Yeah.
You know, so that's a thing for me as well.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing about home, and we're lucky to be able to have that, to have any kind of positive memories and stuff like that. Did you guys do a lot of fires growing up?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We do a lot of fires now.
Yeah.
We
same.
like legally, I don't think we're allowed to have the fire pit in the back of my house that we did on on Music Row, but we did.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I was talking about at home.
Oh yeah.
Like growing up. Is
Absolutely.
That like a thing
I mean,
for
we
you
still
guys?
have the pit that I built like 15 years ago out in my dad's field is still there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That was
That's
always
like
a thing.
cool. We planted a tree when Mom went to heaven. We planted a tree. It was like a little tiny root And
I
now
think I
it's like,
saw that. It was
Yeah,
like
yeah,
English
yeah.
Study or something. That's cool.
and so I'll just go out there and sit, and you can like, so from where my dad's, Tennessee is like an angle. From where my dad's property sits, you see the mountain, and like that's North Carolina.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know, all that's just like really pretty and cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, dude.
That's cool. We did a bunch of fires growing up and stuff too, and I feel like that's always like I have to do that when I go home. I don't care if it's hot
Yeah.
or snowy or rainy or whatever. Like I like crave that because it just like brings me back. Like,
Do you
instantly.
sing by the fire, Jed?
Sometimes, not really.
Yeah, I don't either.
Not too much. Do you do a lot of music stuff when you go home?
No. I don't do a lot of music stuff in Nashville.
Yeah, right.
Nothing's going on. I'm not doing anything.
Yeah, well, let's make it normal to say nothing. Normalize nothing.
So there's a place my dad goes, he's in a few different bands, like some buddies that he went to school with at Sevier County,
Yeah.
and then guys that he grew up playing the Smoky Mountain Jubilee with,
Mhm.
and he played at Dollywood when he was young, and so he's still friends with like most of those dudes, and they have a few different bands where they play, and so there's a place actually really near my house, and he'll go over there and we'll just go sit and enjoy the music, and then get up on stage and sing a few songs. And that's fun because it doesn't feel like
fun.
I went through like a really weird phase too, where it's like I never said this out loud, and so even this thought is going to make me want to vomit saying it out loud. But it's like, oh, I do music in Nashville, so I can't do it here, which is gross, so stupid.
Yeah.
It's like you either do music or you don't. Like you want to sing a song or you don't. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so I've really like even just picking up the guitar with my dad at the house. That's fun. Like we just played some old country songs and all that is fun to me. You know, where I probably like, I don't know, either didn't enjoy it or looked at it like a chore. It's a lot of fun. So
Yeah.
Dude, there's a lot of great music in East Tennessee.
Yeah.
I mean, like a lot.
There is a lot of those people who play those shows are super talented.
Yeah.
Freaks.
Yeah, for sure.
Super good.
That's good.
Did you do any redneck crap growing up? Like some really redneck stuff?
Well, before the redneck crap, did you ever try out for any of the shows up there?
No, never.
So I got asked to.
Did you?
And I was on my way to do. I did some talent shows at different places.
Yeah.
Like younger, and they were looking for like I was probably like 13, and they needed a male lead for this thing. And my mom was like, "You're doing this," and I was like, "No, I'm not. You're doing this." And we got in the car, and I begged her to not take me, and so I didn't do it. But I almost played a show up there.
Wow, that's cool.
What we're talking about too is like there's all these different shows through like if you go up into Pigeon Forge or Gatlinburg, they have these big theaters because they pride themselves on music, man. Almost everything revolves around music.
Yeah. Bluegrass.
It's bluegrass, country music, that kind of thing. And they have all these different shows that have like matinees and night shows, and all these people just flock to these shows, dude. It's pretty wild.
And the dinner food is usually fire.
Oh, absolutely.
So fire.
What they call it, the Stampede.
The Stampede.
Dolly Stampede.
They changed the name.
They did change the name, which more power to them.
Hey, that's great. That food there is insane.
Absolutely, and you have to eat it all with your fingers.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, it's really great.
It's really cool.
Did you spend a lot of time in Cades Cove?
We used to go there pretty often. It was like one of those things that we would go do as a family every now and then, and just like drive it and have like a picnic or something like that. But
have you been to Cades Cove? No.
No.
I have no idea what that is.
Oh,
dude, Cades Cove is one of those beautiful. What is it like? It's a 13-mile loop, and they basically preserved it in the national forest, and they let the families that were there. I mean, this was like early part of the 1900s.
Yeah.
And so they let the families live the rest of their life there, but that no one else could move in there. So there's like a few old cabins.
It's like really in the map. Like it.
And they started living there like in the late 1700s, like that kind of thing.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's something to see for sure. And you see like
all kinds of hiking
bears,
trails, like
sweet
deer.
You can go up there and like
guys without Achilles.
Go up there and hike all these different places. Laurel Falls is like my favorite.
That one is cool.
Yeah.
That one is really cool. I'm trying to think of another hike that's over there. I did this one called like the, oh God, I can't think of the name. It's like Brushy Mountain Train or something like that. Have you ever done that one?
Have you done the Brushy Mountain where they lock you in the prison overnight?
No. Where's that?
It's at Brushy Mountain Penitentiary.
No.
That's it.
Oh.
They do a thing where they lock you in overnight and you have to
stay there?
Yes.
No, thank you.
That's what I said.
Dude, you know there's some like paranormal, creepy stuff that goes on.
So it was like a psych ward at first. And
no.
it was.
Getting
So that's
worse.
how you know-
Getting worse.
Yeah,
It's like people have done it like on TV.
I bet you there's like some crazy stuff that happens there. Now, do you believe
What
in
is that?
It's like somebody drew like a little vampire lady in there. So you can just go stay there overnight. Like people pay to do that.
You have to
too.
pay to do it, yeah.
I'm not gonna pay to go stay in there.
And you just you walk around all night and just whatever you have, like flashlights, whatever.
I've paid to
Look
stay.
at that picture right there, bro.
That's terrifying. I've paid to stay in some really scary Holiday Inns, and this looks way worse.
I don't know. This looks better than some Holiday Inns I've stayed in.
Oh my god,
Yeah, no thanks.
dude! Can you
I'll
imagine
pass
being
on that.
locked
Put
up in
Cade's
there?
Cove up there too. Show them Cade's Cove.
Yeah,
CADES.
There you go.
Oh, now we're talking.
There it is.
Play the banjo music.
There it is. I was actually conceived.
right there.
You can go in all of these cabins and stuff, though. Dude,
Really?
what are they doing? They should absolutely hire us to be the face of East Tennessee, and we would
We should
make
be the new
everybody. I have a
Heartland series.
yes.
Did you watch that? Like
No.
growing up, the guy.
Oh, yeah. I thought you said the new one.
No, like
I was like,
I don't think there is a new one.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. We should be the new one.
Dude, the Heartland series is all up in the Appalachian Mountains, baby.
Dude, I got starstruck by that dude. I saw him at the fair.
Oof.
I forget his name. Bill something. Bill.
I
I
don't know.
can't remember, but he was this guy that basically hosted a thing that showed stuff around like the Smokies and
Yeah.
everything. And I saw him at the fair once, and I was like, "Oh my god, no way!" I feel like the first person I probably ever have seen on TV, and of course it's like a local channel. I'm like, I gotta go get a picture. And I went up with my cousin, and we were strapped up in some bro tanks that were like from the beach, and we were super tan, and we just walked up and we're like, "Bill, huge fan." First off,
Huge fan.
I know we look like we live in Daytona Beach, but
Did you ever
we-
get an airbrush T-shirt?
I actually didn't. My parents.
We did
were
a couple
telling me-
times.
My parents were like thinking that was a little too much neck,
But you,
a little too neck,
a little too neck.
a little too neck.
That's actually a good little saying too.
Is it?
Don't go full neck, man.
What is that? Like the?
Like redneck.
Oh yeah,
I just don't go full neck.
yeah.
Like, you can go half neck,
Yeah. There's redneck, then there's
full neck.
neck. Then there's naked.
Then there's naked. Wow.
Wow.
Red naked.
Yeah.
We better stop over our head.
Yeah. I think we're good. What was I gonna ask you?
I don't know.
Well, that's fair. Yeah.
I forget. So, Jackie, thank you for being here. Honestly, one of the best people that I know, and like to tell you this in like a public area. Like I look up.
It's
to you a
about
lot.
time he says it. In
I
a public
do.
area.
I do. I look.
Oh,
I look
my
up.
God.
I look up to you a lot, and I think very highly of you, and
Thanks, man.
you're a wonderful person.
You know where we became friends, though? We established where we met, but you know where we became friends?
Where?
You don't remember?
Red Door?
No.
Where?
I got to get out of here if you don't remember.
All right.
Just think for 3 seconds. We met at Top Golf.
We met at Top Golf.
And then the next time we met.
Oh, we met at the Christmas party.
No.
Or the, right?
2 strikes.
No, we met at the fundraiser.
Yeah, that's what I meant. It was a Christmas thing,
No, it was
right?
in February.
Oh, well, Merry Christmas, everyone. Thank you.
Because I met you in I met you in January, at the end of January, and then literally like 2 weeks later.
Yeah, I was thinking that was some sort of like Christmas thing, but yes, you're
Like-
right. That's where we became friends. You
and
had
like
your
we
flow.
danced hard,
We danced hard. We drank.
and then we
Heavy.
went to Flamingo after.
Yes,
oh my
we did.
God! Then like a month after that, remember we took the boys trip to Flamingo.
We did.
We did.
That was fun.
That was a lot of fun too.
God, I wish we could talk
And
more
now
about that one.
you and Ellen and Courtney and I we're all double dating, and look at us
Yeah,
go.
Jackie's got a sweet lady. She's cool.
Because did you have a girlfriend when we first met?
No.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Look at us.
Look at us.
Killing it. And we had.
Who'd have thought? Not
We
me.
both had long hair. All we had to do was lose the hair.
I know.
Sheesh. If you have long hair, it's time to cut it off.
It's time to cut it off.
But yeah, thank you for being
Love
here,
you,
man.
man.
I love you a bunch.
This is fun. We'll have to do
And
this again sometime. Hopefully, when I have
We will.
maybe something going on.
Yeah,
Right now, we got nothing.
You do got something going on.
No, we're
though.
about to put some songs out, dude. I'm excited.
When is that?
Tomorrow, I don't know.
Do you know what? Do you have like any kind of date yet?
I don't. Paul texted me as we're sitting here, and we should have a mix. Well, he did 2 songs first. Ashley
Yeah.
and Gorley and Paul DiGiovanni are producing.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So that's how you know it's good. if you don't know who Ashley
Well,
Gore
so I was
is,
the
or
first
Paul.
person Paul ever produced anything on.
Really?
Yeah.
No way. And now he's done
I begged him.
how
I was
many
like,
number ones?
because he hadn't done anything, but his demo sounded really great, and I was like,
Yeah.
bro, you can do this.
Right.
And he was like, okay, cool. And so he did, and man, he's killing it.
Dude, yeah.
Love the dude.
Unbelievable. His sound's good.
Yeah,
and it
it's really
sounds
cool.
great on your stuff.
And we
but
wrote "Getting Over You" together.
You did?
Mhm.
Just y'all two?
Brent Anderson
Oh,
as
cool.
well. Yeah.
Cool. Well, if y'all have not heard Jackie Lee, please go check out his music and follow him because he's going to have more amazing stuff coming out. One of the craziest voices you've ever heard. Swear to God. Thanks for tuning in to Jed Talks, and we'll see you next time.
Woo! Oh, 6 p.m. on the dot, dude. What?